Greetings, I'm Squared here, and today we are going to talk about writing linear equations if we have a table. So there's two things you need to know to write an equation in slope-intercept form, which is the form we're going to use today. We need to know the slope and the y-intercept. After we do that, we just plug it in our little y equals mx plus b. So if you remember from last year, m, this number that is multiplied by x, when y is alone, is the slope, and this number that's added or subtracted is the y-intercept. So we need to find both of those things in order to write an equation. So remember, slope is rise over run. In a table, we're going to do that a little interesting. This is the formula we had when we used when we had 2 points. We do y minus y over x minus x. Those subscripts can be interchanged as long as you keep the 1s and the 2s above each other. And this is kind of a higher level. This is called of math when we talk about slope, the change in y over the change in x. That's delta y and delta x. So that's kind of the concept we're going to use today. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, and it's always found when x is 0. So anytime you have a point where the x-coordinate is 0, for example 0, 7, that is your y-intercept. So that is the easiest thing to find first. So first we're going to talk about finding the y-intercept, and then we're going to talk about finding the slope. And these are on an easier level. Later when we talk about more about equations, we'll get into them in a deeper level. But for right now, I want you to notice when we have a table and you see 0, negative 5, when x is 0, that's your y-intercept. So I already know b is negative 5. So I've already got part of my equation, y equals something times x minus 5. I just need to fill in this m part. So this is how I do that. Remember, this is y, f of x is y. So what I do is I find out the difference between these two. It's going down 4, and I want to make sure that each time it's that same amount, and it is. And then up here, it's going up 1 each time. So the change in y over the change in x, the change in y over the change in x is my slope. And once I find my slope, I put that number right in front of the x, and this becomes my equation. Now, it's never a bad idea to check it out and see if it works. So, for example, I'll take this point right here, and I'm going to plug negative 9 in here, and I'm going to plug 1 in for the x, and I'm going to see if it works. Oh, sorry, that's a positive 1. So negative 4 minus 5, does it equal negative 9? Yes, it does. So I know that I'm correct. So it's always good to check a point. Okay, let's do a few more examples. Here we go. So first, remember, I'm going to check out my my y-intercept. That's my x-intercept. Here's my y-intercept. So I know that b is negative 3. So I'm going to write my equation, something x minus 3. And then I'm going to find my change. So it looks like it's going up 3 each time. So that's my change in y is 3. Now I'm going to find my change in x. Looks like it's going up 1 each time as well. That means, my slope is 3. So I put a 3 right there, and that is my equation. All right, well, let's look at this. Remember, the first thing I do is find my b. There's my b. b equals 9. So I have y equals something x plus 9. And now I find how much it's going up each time. So right here, that looks like it's going up 5, going up 5, going up 5, going up 5. So it's 5. My change in y is 5. And then I was nice, and every time on your x, it's going to go up 1. So we're doing the easy version. It gets more challenging, but you could use that same rule, although it might be different. You might have to use the slope formula if these weren't all in order, nice and neat for you. So my slope is 5, and there we go. Okay, we're going to do a couple more examples. So here I have it going down 1/2 each time. Looks like it's minus 1/2. So here we get a little bit involved with a fraction, but each time it's going down 1/2. And then here it seems to be going up 1 each time. So negative 1/2 over 1 means my slope is negative 1/2, and my y-intercept is 3, because when x is 0, y is 3. So I put my y-intercept there, and that is that one. Okay, 2 more. There's my y-intercept, and let's see what's happening each time here. It looks like if you're not sure, it looks like it's going up 3.5. You could always do -7 minus, let's see, it is, well, you can always add those, or I mean subtract them, and I didn't even write that in. If you are worried about decimals, you can say -7 minus a -4.5, and it's -2.5 here, and then you can always test it again, -4.5 minus a -2, and that's a -2.5. So we can see that it's happening there, and you can keep checking. This goes -2 minus a -0.5 minus a -0.5, and you see that's 1.5. That's what I was worried about. So that means this one is not linear. So we're just going to say not linear. Always make sure you check all of them, because if they're not linear, then you can't write a linear equation. That still is the y-intercept, however. Okay, last one. Here we go. There's our b, y equals mx plus b, so we know our b is 14, and then we check each time it's going down 3, it's going down 3, it's going down 3, so we have a -3. It's going up 1 each time there, so our slope is -3, because -3/1 is -3. So good luck with that. M squared signing out.